In the history, we have discussed about the first one, first lesson, that is tracing the track, okay, the 1,000 years, how it was, okay, and what are the changes we had observed, everything. So now, in this second class, as a lesson name, New Kings and Kingdom. So in history, this is very important lesson, dear children, as we had stepped to the second lessons. In this class, we are going to learn about the how the kingdom and how the kings started to establish their area of ruling. So, and how they became the powerful, that we are going to learn in this class. Now let's move on to the lesson. So here, many new dynasties emerged after the 7th century. So dear children, as in the medieval period, we are going to learn the medieval period, it's considered after the 7th century. So here, the map 1, in the textbook you can see that, and after the explanations I will show you here. So map 1 shows the major ruling of dynasties in different parts of the subcontinent. Understand here children? Subcontinent means here the continent, which are the features of the continent. One continent means that is it has a mountain, desert, the sea, ocean, okay, and the plateaus, and different kinds of the sources and many other things, which are one continent having that the all the continent or all the content, all the features that one subcontinent is having that is India. So here different parts of the subcontinent, it is means it is India. So in the map 1 shows that what is that major ruling dynasties in different parts of the subcontinent between 7th to 12th century, 7th to 12th century. So how they established? So first, before that, just understand here, dear children. So here you could see that the major aspects about the how they established that. Okay, see, these are all the marks which are going to be seen that. So these are all that. Whichever it is there, these are all considered as that. Okay, fluctuation means what? Sometime it was extending and sometime it was going to be decreases, okay, because of the ruler, or when it is stronger, then automatically this is going to become the weaker. When it is stronger, established, and when it is weaker, it decreases the power of that. So here this is a fluctuation areas of that, which I marked like that is a fluctuation. And here you could see that the majorly about that, this is Rashtrakuta, the capital city of the Rashtrakuta, that is Manaketa or Malkeda. So these area, so see, you could see that these areas are belongs to the, it was belongs to Rashtrakutas. And here we could easily understand that that is Palas. Okay, so this is another one kingdom. So you could see that the Gurjara Pratihara. Okay, so this the large kingdom between the 7th to 12th century, that is Gurjara Pratiharas, was started to ruling here. So this is very important, dear children. Gurjara Pratiharas, they separated in a different way. Okay, Chahamans, and also here Paramars, okay, Chandelas. So these we can be seeing there. So these are all be as a Gurjara Pratiharas. So they were the main ruler or main kingdom during the days. And Rashtrakuta is also be one of the famous, and also Kalinga. Okay, you could see here. This is Kalinga, and also here you can see the Chola. Okay, and Chera here, and Pandyas in Kerala border. So these are all the some of the areas of controlled by these kingdoms or dynasties. So now, dear children, this is a map 1. So as we learned that, so other areas are there, but the majorly these were the control or the holding of the areas about. Now, let's understand the emergence of new dynasties. So, By the 7th century, there were big landlords. So, as we learnt in the first lesson, landlord. So, one who having the control of the large area of the land, agriculture field, and he was borrowing the laborers to work there get the cultivation, the land, or get the crop of the land. So, and also he had a warrior chief. So, one who big landlord is considered as the warrior chief, means on that area, on that village, he would be the stronger, and he would be commander of that. So, like the different regions of the subcontinents were separated. Okay, so existence kings often acknowledge them as their subordinate or samanta. So those who are already the kings, okay, those who are already stronger, those who are controlled, for example Rashtrakutas, okay, so such were attached with these warrior chief, okay, so they were had a contact with that. So these landlords who had a contact with these the existing kings, and they would consider themselves as the subordinates or samanta, or its meaning is subordinate. So one who supporting to the main king. Okay, they were expected to bring gift. Who the kings were expected to bring gifts for their kings and overlords. So over there, they were expecting the kings gifts from the subordinates. So because they're providing all the things, okay, and also be present in that the court and provide them to military support. So this is a major important. Those who are considered as the subordinates or samantas, those should carry the gifts always. Whenever they go there, they need to carry some of the gifts, some fruits or some of the gold or something different they need to offer it, because to make the king or the ruler to happy. If they are happy about this particular samanta or the particular subordinate, then they are going to offer more, the king offer more for that particular that. That's why they were offering that. And second thing about that, the kings who are expected that they should be in their court. Why? To give suggestions and also to provide the military. So military support. And samantas gain the power and the wealth. They declare themselves as the Mahasamantas. So subordinates or Samantas. Okay. Once the great lord or the king who was already existence. Okay. If they lost their power or the control of that area, or the king is weaker, then these Samantas or subordinator became the stronger, and when their power and the wealth is increased, so automatically these samantas consider themselves as the Mahasamantas. So Mahamandaleshwaram, so the great lord of the circle or the region. So mandala means region, circle. Okay, so Mandaleshwaram means that is he is only the superior of that area, and so on. I mean, step by step, they're going to be assert the independent from the king, and they started to rule that particular area. Okay. So one such instance about that, it is Rashtrakutas in Deccan. So in these step, Gurjara Pratiharas, example I'm telling that Gurjara Pratiharas were controlling about the whole India means. So once they lose the power of that particular area, these Rashtrakutas entered to that gradually. So they were Samantas and became the Mahasamantas. Then now they became the dynasty, the Rashtrakutas. So initially they were subordinated of Chalukyas. So before the Rashtrakutas, Chalukyas were stronger and they were ruling that. Okay, Immadi Pulakeshi. So Chalukyas, so one of the great king about that. So Chalukyas contributed a lot to the southern India. So during the Chalukyas period, Rashtrakutas were Samantas. Okay. So when they decline the power of that Chalukyas, then automatically the Rashtrakutas gain the power and establish their power here. Okay. So now in the mid 18th century, Danti Durga, sorry, in the mid 8th century. Okay. So 7th century, it's the beginning of the Chalukyas, so they were ruling in here. So afterward, Danti Durga, who is that? Danti Durga, the Rashtrakutas chief of Rashtrakuta, okay, Dantidurga, and also he known as that. What is that? He was the founder of the Rashtrakuta. Okay, so in the mid 8th century, the Chalukyas overload of performance of ritual called that Hiranye Garbha, literally called that golden womb. Okay, so they have overlooked that, and when this ritual was performed with the help of the Brahmanas, it was thought that led the rebirth of the sacrifice of the Kshatriyas, even if he was not by birth. So that is thing, it's very important. So here in the ritual performance that of the Brahmana, help the Brahmana, what is that, if by birth they are not they are not Kshatriyas, means they are also, they were not able to, by birth if they are not Kshatriyas, they are also able to rule the area. So this ritual, okay, Hiranye Garbha, that has been implemented in the mid 8th century. So here I have a picture here which is in a textbook also. This is wall relief from the cave 15 of Ellora. So it is in a Maharashtra, Ellora. So showing Vishnu as a Narasimha. Okay, we know that there are different avatars, okay, of Lord Vishnu. So in that Narasimha avatara or Narasimha, it's one of the famous one, and this is the man lion. Okay, man, the body is man and head is lion face. Okay, and it is a work of the Rashtrakuta period. This is done in the Rashtrakuta period. Where it is done there? It is done in the Ellora caves. Okay, cave 15. There are many caves. In cave 15, Ellora. Okay, this one. That. Do you know the story about the Hiranyakashipu? That, okay, and Narasimha's war between that. Okay, to kill the Hiranyakashipu. Okay, this Narasimha avatar, okay, derived. Okay, so this is very important, dear children. This is a contribute of this, that the picture what you're seeing, that is the contribution of the Rashtrakutas. Okay. In other cases, men of enterprising the families use the military skills to carve out kingdom. Okay, so they use the military kingdom, military power to establish their power. For instance, Kadamba, Mayura Sharma, okay, and the Gurjara Pratihara, Harichandra, okay, were Brahmins. So Chalukyas were ruling. Okay, Mauryan dynasty was ruling. Now let's understand that the people were believing that only Kshatriyas should rule the kingdom. But here, after this, okay, after this, that Hiranya Garbha, okay, that golden womb, according to the ritual, that Brahmins have given the chance to that, okay, even the non-Kshatriyas or who are not born as Kshatriyas could become a Kshatriya. So how it is that Danti Durga in Rashtrakuta. So he was not Brahm, he was not Kshatriya. And the second one is that the Kadamba Mayura Varma or Mayura Sharma. So we know that he was basically Brahmin. Okay, and also he because of that some of the hurt, he became the arrogant, and he was learned all the skills of that one king should be knowing that all the knowledge he was having there. So in that he gathered the informations and he took the kingdom of that. Okay, so that is very important. Kadamba Mayura Sharma, and when he became the king, and he changed his name as the Mayura Sharma. And also Gurjara Pratiharas Harichandra, they were also Brahmin who gave up their tradition professions and took the arms, successfully established the kingdom in Karnataka and Rajasthan. Gurjara Pratiharas in the area of the Rajasthan and middle of the or central India, and Rashtra Kadambas in the Karnatakas. So the administration of the kingdom, how the administration of the kingdom was there. So now let's see that. Many of these new kings adopted them, because once they adopted these kind of the administration or the control of the area, they need to control means they need to have the good kind of the administration. So high sounding titles such as Maharaja, Adi Raja, okay, that is called Great King, Overlord of King, and Tribhuwana, okay, and also Tribhuwana Chakravartin, Lord of Three World, okay. See, such a how it is beautiful titles they were having there. Why they were having these? To show their power, to show their that how they are, okay. So Maharaja, it means that he is stronger. By hearing the title only, that other kings were aware of that. Oh, he is a powerful king. Like that, they were analyzing that. So, however, in spite of such claims, okay, they often share power of the Samantas as well of the associate of the peasants, traders, and Brahmins. So they were not only Kshatriyas who were supporting that, with the Samantas, with the help of the Samantas, associated with the peasants, the farmers, okay, one who work in the field, they were also supporting, okay, and also the traders, and also Brahmins, those all be supported in administration of that, okay. In each of these states, resources were obtained from the producers. It is peasants, cattle keepers, artisans. So, what it is peasant? Farmers, one who grow the crop, okay, and cattle keeper, so one who take care of the cattle, that may be cows, sheep, goats, okay, such as. And artisans means one who make the pots, okay, and the whatever the requirements for the daily life, okay, such as vessels, like that, so who were often pursued it and compare of the surrounded areas what they produces, okay. Sometimes they were claimed as rent due to the lord, due to a lord who was a he owned the land. So once they own the land means they claim the rent for that one, okay. Revenue was collected from the traders. So all the revenues of that everything collected by the traders, and that was being given to the king. So here 400 taxes. What is that 400 taxes? Let's understand now. Inscriptions of, let me tell you that what is inscription. Inscription means engraved writings. Engraved writing, dear children. Inscription means it is engraved writing. What it is? It is on the stone, rock, or the monuments, or the wall of the monuments. So in that such it is there means they are going to engrave that, okay, they are going to write it that by using the some of the iron tools they were going to make it that. So that is inscriptions. So that provide all the details about that what they were doing that, okay. So this is also the sources of history. Inscriptions of a Cholas who ruled in Tamil, Cholas Tamil, okay, refer to more than 400 terms of different kinds of taxes. It's amazing. See, dear children, 400, more than 400 terms of different kinds of the taxes the Cholas in Tamil Nadu were followed. The most frequently mentioned taxes is Vetti, okay, taken not in cash but in form of the forced labor. So Vetti means mention the taxes Vetti taken not in cash, in favor of that, okay, they were forced for the labor, form of forced labor. And what is that? Kadamai or land revenue. Kadamai, land revenue. There were also taxes of the thatching of the house, thatching, okay, so the construction of the house, and the ladder to climb the palm tree, okay, so cess on succession or family property. So these are all the major things we are saying. See, like this 400 terms of the different taxes during the Cholas period in Tamil. Tamil Nadu. So it is really amazing, dear children. So now, so the question is asked there. What is that? Are any such taxes collected today? No, but land taxes, okay, house taxes, okay, then whatever the taxes we are paying, we can list out that. Huh? So now here these resources were used to finance to the king's establishment because he want to give the salary for the workers, he need to take care of the palace, and he need to win a warfare and the construction temples, forts, okay, and providing the lake and good basic amenities, okay, the food, shelter, and also the good road for the people to travel, okay, the market area, everything they wanted to construct that in the by the collection of these revenues only. They were also used to fight wars, as I said you that, which war in the turn to expected to lead the acquisitions of wealth in the form of plunder and access to the land as well as the trade routes. So these were very important, dear children. The functionaries of collecting revenue were generally recruited from the influential families and positions were often hereditary. So this is very important. Hereditary. So heredity based. So if man became the king, then his son become the next king, then next king, next son, like that. So it was moved on to the hereditary system. So this was gradually done, that one. So this was true about army as well. In many cases, close relatives of the king held these positions. So in army, sometimes or usually that the people, those who are close related to the king, that would be became the chief of the army. Okay. So now I am going to tell you about the prashastis and land grants. What is prashasti? What is land grants? Let's understand now. So now prashasti contain detail that may not be literally true. So it is detailed, but it is not literally true because in a favor of that. So for example, if I am a king, okay, if I am a king, I want to hear the goodness, or I want to hear the positive things about me instead of hearing the negative. So the same way that one who in front of the king, those who are explaining about that, oh, my king is the one, only the king who is going to offer everything for his followers. So but it may not be true, it may not be true, but it is exactly what it is, that we need to understand by using of that. Prashasti means, but tell us about that rulers want to depict by themselves. So here, as valiant, victorious warriors, such as, okay, the examples would be given there. So these were composed by the learned Brahmins who occasionally helped the administration, the learned Brahmins. So these Brahmins were gaining the knowledge and they were offering and guiding to the king. So these are all the prashastis, whatever the title is they were giving. No, so like Brahmins, okay, he is Raja di Raja, Maharaja di Raja, okay, victorious warrior, like that. So these are all called as that. What is that? It is prashastis. So the kings often reward the Brahmins by grants of land. So grants of land. Why? Because they were offering, they were giving the different kinds of the prashastis and writing the, making the different poets on him, on the king. So by inspiring that, the king was offering the lands. Okay, so this is very important. These were recorded on the copper plates. Dear children, let's understand that this is very important. So before that, before the medieval period, they were writing in the engraved on the stones or they were majorly they were using some of the pots or some other where they are making that, or sometimes they most of the time they were not preserving any kind of the informations. But here in this medieval period, so they were maintaining in the on the stones in inscriptions, and majorly copper is introduced, and they were explaining about that in the copper plate. So recorded in the copper plate which were given those who received the land. So like that now we are making an agreement. Okay, so that same thing agreement that had done in the period of this medieval period. So now we have a picture about that copper plate. You could see that copper plate, how it is that. Okay, see, this is a set of copper plates recording the grant of a land made by a ruler in 9th century, written partly in the Sanskrit. You could see that the Sanskrit, okay, and partly in Tamil, okay, and rings holding the rings. You could see that, the rings. So see, these are all the rings, okay, the rings which are all holding, and the plates together securated the royal seal with the securate of the royal seal. Where it is the royal seal? You could see that this is the royal seal. Okay, so royal seal. So they were making the different, that is oval shape and different, they were using that. So you could see that it is in a what is that, Tamil. You could see that in Sanskrit. Okay, so these are all the Tamil script, and these are all the Sanskrit, some of mix that. Okay, so indicates that how the authenticate of the documents of that they were following that. So this is about that. Now next about that, the achievements of Nagabhatta. So who is Nagabhatta? One of the great poets. Okay, so in the medieval period, so many rulers describe their achievements in Prashastis. You need know about Prashasti means Gupta ruler Samudragupta last year. Okay, in the previous year you have learned that Prashastis of Gupta ruler in a Samudragupta. In the previous, in a Mauryan dynasty, you have learnt about that. One Prashasti written in Sanskrit and found in Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh, described as, okay, exploits of Nagabhatta and Pratihara king. Okay, Pratihara king, remember Pratihara king as follow. The king was, he written in the Sanskrit and translated to English. The king of Andhra, Saindhwa or Sindh, Vidarbha part of Maharashtra, and Kalinga part of Orissa fell before him even as he was prince. As he was prince means before coming to the king, he was a son. So king was ruling and he was a son of the king, the prince. He won a victory over Chakrayuddha, the rule of Kanauj. He defeated the king of Vanga, the part of Bengal. Okay, Anarth, part of Gujarat, Malwa, part of Madhya Pradesh, Kirata, forest people, Tarushka, Turks, okay, and Vatsa, Matsya, both kingdom in North India. So this is how he is describing about a Pratihara's king. Okay, so this is achievements of Nagabhatta, that he was Prashasti given that. So this is example of the Prashasti. So now here, what was given to the land? So here, this is the part of the Tamil section of land grant given by the Cholas. So what is the explained in the Tamil? Let's understand. It's translated to English now. Let's understand. We have demarcated the boundaries of the land by making earthen embankment as well as by planting thorny bushes. This is what the land contain fruit bearing trees. What land is containing? Fruit bearing trees, water, land, garden, orchids, trees, wells, open space, pasture land, a village, ant hills, platforms, canals, ditches, rivers, silt-laden land, tanks, granaries, fish pond, beehive, and deep lake. See how describably given that order or agreement, land grant, how they are giving that. See, such a described one. Okay, so that we have seen that in a copper plate, that one of that they have given that. He who receive the land can collect the taxes from it. Remember, this is very important, dear children. He who receives the land can collect taxes from it. He can collect the taxes imposed by judicial official as fine, the tax on betel leaves, that on woven cloth as well on the vehicles. So here you could observe that he who receives the land can collect the taxes from it. What are that? He can collect the taxes from impose of the judicial officials as a fine. Okay, one thing. Second one, tax on betel leaf. Tax on betel leaf. Okay, that on woven cloth. Okay, as well as in vehicle. He can build large rooms which upper stories made up of baked bricks. He can get large and small well dug. He can plant trees and thorny bushes if necessary. He can canal construction for irrigation. He should ensure that water is not wasted, that embankment are built. So dear children, let's understand here. This is very important. During the days in the Cholas period only, water is not wasted. Water is not wasted. So by that time only they had a concept about the saving water. Okay, so this is very important, dear children. So during the Cholas, whatever the areas they are giving, that's completely describingly given that. And second thing about that condition and instructions were given that. So this is very important. So now here, unusual for the 12th century was a long Sanskrit poem containing the history of kings who ruled over Kashmir. So it was composed by an author named Kalhana. We might be heard that Kalhana. Okay, Raja Tarangini is famous book. Okay, is famous work. He used variety of sources including inscriptions, documents, eyewitness accounts, and earlier histories and write his account. So unlike the writers of Prashastis, he was often critical about the rulers and their policies. So now here in the New Kings and Kingdom, we are going to come to the last topic about this, and after this we are going to learn about the particularly how the Cholas were there. Okay, so war and the war wealth. And the wealth. Ruling dynasties were based on the specific region. At the same time, they tried to control other areas. So that's why one particular prize area, that is city of Kannauj in Ganga Valley. Why it is very famous or very fond of the Kannauj? Because it is comes under the delta of the Ganga region, Ganga Valley. So wealthier city. That's why everybody very fond of this area. So for centuries, rulers belonging to the Gurjara Pratiharas, Rashtrakutas, Pala dynasty fought for control of the Kannauj. Okay, so because there were three parties in the long-drawn conflict, histories often describe that tri-party struggle. Very important. Gurjara Pratiharas, Rashtrakutas and Palas. These three kingdoms or dynasties frequently, like Cold War, frequently they were having the war between each other. Okay, so of these three parties for a long period of that. So this is in Indian history. This is very famous and as described as that triparties struggle. Okay, so this is about the warfare for the wealth. One of the best known such ruler is Sultan Muhammad of Ghazni, Afghanistan. Okay, Sultan Muhammad of Ghazni, Afghanistan. So here Ghazni Muhammad, we are going to say that. Okay, so in Afghanistan, presently Kabul, we are going to say that area. So he ruled from 900 to 997, okay, to 1030, extended control over the part of Central Asia, Iran, and the northwestern part of the subcontinent. So he raided the subcontinent almost every year, okay. His target were wealthy temples, including that Somnath, Gujarat. So this is very important, dear children. In a Somnath temple, he demolished or he make more damage to that temple. So in that temple, even Shivalinga, what the Somanatha Linga, which was there, that he took off that to make it that he was believing that wherever they were keeping the idols, in the Hindus were keeping the idols, those areas they were preserving or they were keeping the wealth. He was believing like that. So to make it that to dig that, he was not believing that about that god or worship that one. He just demolished that everything that. So that is major thing about that Somnath temple in Gujarat. Much of the wealth Muhammad carried away was used to create the splendid capital of the Ghazni. Okay, so he carried all the wealth which are majorly he got that everything carried to the Ghazni. So he made that area wealthier. Sultan Muhammad was also interested to find out the Ghazni Muhammad almost 14 times invaded India in different, so such he had done that to occupy the wealth. So you remember that during those days only medieval area only India, that our subcontinent, wealthier than the other countries or other neighboring countries. So this is very important. Even European countries, whichever we are saying that England, everybody, they were trading with India because such wealthier or such resources we were having that. Understand? So Sultan Muhammad was also interested in finding out more out of the people conquered and interested the scholars named Al-Biruni to write an account of the subcontinent. Okay, so this is that Arabic work. It's known as that. Okay, Kitab ul Hind, a book about the Hindu, remains important sources of the historians. So he consulted Sanskrit scholars to prepare this account. So because he was not knowing about that, so that's why he went to the Sanskrit scholars and also asked them to write it that. So this is very important, dear children. Whatever the sources we have that, so that is about the Ghazni, that he asked the Sanskrit and Arabic peoples to write it that. So here, the other king who engraved in the warfare, that including that Chahmans, later that Chauhans, who ruled the over the region, Delhi and Ajmer, that is Chahmans. So they attempted to expand of their control of the west and east. They were opposed by the Chalukyas of Gujarat and Gahadawalas of western Uttar Pradesh. Okay. So the best known Chahman ruler is Prithviraj III. Okay, Prithviraj III. Okay, he was very famous king. Okay, so Chahamanas. Okay, he was ruling in the area of that, as we said, Delhi and Ajmer. So here, he ruled between that thousand 168 to 1192. So who defeated the Afghan ruler named Sultan Muhammad Ghori? Okay, Ghori Muhammad Ghori. Okay, son of the Ghazni. Okay, so he ruled that Sultan, and in 1191, and but he lost him after that in the very next year only lost, and he killed in the warfare. So that is very important. So dear children, so this is about that how the new king and the kingdoms were established. That so now we have another one. Related to this lesson about the case study or one particular information about that. So one kingdom, that is Chola, will be discussed in the next video.